Hello. So we have just one more minute. And so if you're not prepared, you can grab 2 blankets, as many pillows, blocks if you have blocks, or books. Okay, welcome. So my name is Danielle, if you haven't taken a class with me just yet. This is Power Flow Yoga. And last week, we kind of concentrated on balance poses. I've also been talking a lot about balance in general. I think it's extremely important, especially right now. So we'll be working on balance poses again. And we'll be talking a little bit about the shifting of resistance to surrender. Okay, so last week we did Bakasana, and I promised that we'd do Bakasana again, crow pose. And we'll also be doing a little bit of headstand. So if you've never done headstand, we'll be doing a little bit of that. And for some of you that have both of those things in your practice, then you'll be working on maybe transitioning from Bakasana crow pose to headstand. And I'll try to get there reasonably quickly today. So we'll just start off in a seated position, closed eyes. Just use this time for yourself. Just to come into your breath, come into your body. And as a space to begin to let go of the day. Let go of anything that's racing around in your mind that might be causing your breath to speed up or your heart rate. We'll just slowly blink our eyes open. And then quickly again, I'm going to talk about the importance of your foundations. So I showed you guys the palms last week. And so you want to concentrate on your structure in any balance pose, especially when the balance pose is putting pressure on your hands. So just moving forward quickly, just think about shoulders directly above wrists, and then the weight being transferred through the mounds of the thumb, the little finger, and the pointer finger. And then just keeping this part between your thumb and your pointer finger pressed down into the ground. Okay? All right, so we'll just get started on all fours in our tabletop position. Again, stacking all your joints. Press the tops of your feet down. Press into the palms of your hand. Inhale, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curl the spine, belly button in towards the spine. Inhale, send the gaze up towards the ceiling, pull the chest through. Exhale, curling the spine. Inhale, one more time, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, come back to flat back. And then just Notice how you feel here in your second flat back. And then from the side of your body, just try to imagine one straight line going from your hips through your shoulders and your ears. So coming back to the hands as your foundation here, notice what happens when you press the mound of your thumb into the ground, or thumbs into the ground. Right, and then from there, spin the triceps out, external rotation in the upper arms. And then slowly curl the toes under and lift the knees. Breathe here for 1, 2, 3, 4, lower the knees. And then slowly come back to child's pose. Making this an active child's pose, so palms pressing down into the mat. Forehead comes down towards the mat as well. And then notice what happens when you let go of your arms. And then bring the arms back straight. Press into the palms. Spin the triceps down, external rotation in the arms. Inhale here. Exhale, curl the toes, come to plank. So we're gonna hold plank just for a little here. All right, shoulders directly above your wrists. As if you had a block in between your thighs, spin your inner thighs up towards the ceiling, pin the outer hips in, hold the lower belly in, and then look towards the top of the mat. So you're opening the chest here, you're knitting the lower ribs in, pulling the abdominals, and lengthening. Inhale here, exhale, downward facing dog. Just slowly move one foot at a time, lengthening and bending. Do what feels good in your body. And then we'll settle into our downward facing dog. Lifting the heels, bend the knees, get a good stretch in the back, and then slowly walk up towards your hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Hanging here in your first forward fold. You can open your feet a little wider, so hip width apart. And bend your knees so much that your chest is resting on the top of your thighs. And then hang the head, completely let it go. Maybe you shake it yes and no. Slowly roll to the top of your standing position. Open the palms. Inhale, sweep the arms up, bring the palms to touch. Exhale, pull the palms down in the center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, come through flat back to forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the palms. Step, walk, or jump to the back of your mat. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it out. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees. Step, walk, or jump to the top of the mat. We'll do that one more time, this time with a block in between thighs. Inhale, halfway up, squeezing the block. Sending that block behind you, so internal rotation. Turn halfway up, exhale, forward fold. So we're gonna come back to a flat back. This time you're gonna bring your arms straight in front of you, so reaching the fingertips in front of you, finding that flat back. Right now, there's a little bit of a banana in my back. So how I get rid of that is I squeeze that block, pull the lower ribs in, lengthen the back of the neck. Inhale here, lengthen more. Maybe you bring the weight forward into your toes. Exhale, fold. One more time, reaching the fingertips up and forward. And then completely stand up. Bringing the palms down through the center line. Maybe you close your eyes for a moment. Open the mouth, exhale. All right, bringing your palms down by your sides. Taking a look at me here with my block in between my thighs. Again, so internal rotation, squeeze that block, spin it behind you. You get that curve in your lower back. Pin the outer hips in. You're removing that curve. And then to further remove the curve, engage the lower abdominals as you're spinning back. So opposite forces, right? And then from there, hold that base. Inhale, swoop the arms up above your head. Watching your shoulders here. It's okay to keep them apart. So hands apart, as wide as necessary. And then notice here, as you're doing all of this down here, notice what's happening in the upper body as you're lifting up. Some of you might be sticking out. Pull those lower ribs in, tighten that core set. And then look up towards the ceiling. Reach your fingertips. Bring the palms touch if you like. Exhale, come through, flat back to forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the palms. Step to the back of the mat to plank. Holding your plank here. Revisit that block, squeeze it. Send the block towards the ceiling. Pin the outer hips in. Engage the lower abdominals. And release to the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing here. And you're gonna lift your heels, bend your knees. Option to jump to the top of the mat with your block. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. And just breathe here. Grabbing the base of your skull with your fingers. Maybe you're bending your knees. See what it feels like to pull your head away from your body. And slowly release the fingers. Roll to the top. Inhale, sweep the arms up towards the ceiling. Leave them apart. And then sit back into chair pose, Utkatasana. Looking down towards your toes, make sure you can see them, right? So squeezing that block, sending it behind you. Revisiting this area here, pull those lower ribs in. Lengthen in the back of the neck. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the palms. And step or jump to the back of the mat. Bend your knees. Release that block. And then come back to downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, side up. Another inhale. Exhale. Spinning those triceps towards the ears. External rotation in the arms. As you're doing that, press that thumb into the ground. Knit the lower ribs in. And then we're gonna come to to a squat. So wide-legged squat. Block if you'd like, you can sit on your block. So heels in, toes out. Even if you're sitting on your block here, you want to engage. So pressing the heels into the mat, pressing the triceps into the thighs, open the chest. And engage. Maybe you slightly lift off of the block here. So moving on to Bakasana, crow pose. This is important here. So torso is important. So opening the chest and pulling this in. holding the lower abdominals in is important. But what's as equally as important is pressing the arms into the thighs as you're squeezing your thighs into your arms, okay? Close your eyes for a moment. Find length in the back of the neck. Exhale, release the fingertips. Slowly heel toe your feet back together. And then coming into Bakasana. So Bakasana. I'm going to start off this time. If it's in your practice, go ahead, go for it. It's also in your practice to go in and out of Bakasana to headstand. Do that. But I'll just demonstrate. You have a little time here. So Bakasana. If you have a pillow or blankets, and this is your first time, you may be fearful of the floor. You're not too far from the floor, but placing blankets underneath your face may give you some protection in the case that you fall forward and nothing happens. You just land softly on some blankets. And then we also have it here for support of our head, right? So higher the blankets, easier it is to get your head in contact, right? And then easier it is to lift. You can start high and then slowly remove one blanket, one pillow at a time. And then another way to get into it is starting off with a tripod headstand, except your legs are not totally standing in the air. So I'll remove one blanket, so I have one blanket here. So big toes are touching, lifting the heels, palms, wrists directly underneath your shoulders. You're going to bend your elbows, so your arms, you're creating a table, a shelf in your arms for your legs. Knees go up as high as possible under your arms, so up towards your armpits. And then you can bring your head down, if that's a smooth transition for you. And then from there, lift. Another way is to first start with your head down. So I'm on my shins. Bring your head down towards the blanket. Hands are directly beneath your elbows. So kind of like in a downward facing dog position here. Walk your toes up. Bring your knees as high as possible onto your arms. So now you're in an easy tripod headstand. Some of you might be surprised that you're even in this position. And then from here, you can begin to squeeze your legs into your arms, press into the palms as you lift. Okay, so those are your options. Otherwise, you're going straight into your Bakasana without anything. Another way that you can get into Bakasana is by using your block or your books, standing on top of it. So this brings your hips higher. So automatically, my knees are higher up on my arms now. My hips are higher. And all I have to do is create that shelf in the arms, hold that chest through, lean forward. So you're leaning forward and lifting, maybe one foot at a time. And then for those of you that would like to go in and out of headstand to Bakasana, you can try that. It's as easy as going from your tripod headstand to a headstand. Then back down to Bakasana. and lifting. For those of you that would like to jump back. We're gonna all go through a vinyasa and meet in downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. Open the mouth, exhale. Lift your heels. We'll do that a little faster, so option is up to you, however you get into it. You're gonna jump to the sides of your mat, come into your squat pose. Press into the inner thighs with your arms, open the chest, find length in your back. So taking your curves out, press and lengthen. On your exhale, plant your palms. Use your blankets, use your pillows, bring your big toes to touch. Plant the palms, bury them deep. Bend the elbows, create that shelf. Open the chest, lift. Jumping back or stepping back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and exhale. Coming onto your knees. You're gonna bring your knees to touch. And for most of you, a blanket or pillow. So in this case, I'll use my bolster. So you can roll up your blankets to create this height for you. You're gonna place it in between your legs, right? So you're in a hero's pose. And slowly, fingertips facing the room in front of you. Open the chest. Press the tops of your shins down into the ground. Press into the palms. Spin the triceps out. And slowly, one arm at a time. If that's where you'd like to go, come back onto your forearms. Press the shins down, knees in towards each other. Open the chest. Slowly, one hand at a time, come out of the pose. Remove your prop. Then we'll come into a rabbit pose. Bring your forehead down towards your knees. Top of your head, crown of the head going into the mat. So you're pressing the top of the head into the mat, and then you're going to begin to lift as you're grabbing onto your heels. So head down, pull on the heels, and lift. So usually what happens in this pose is, for some reason, we walk our knees or reach our head forward, so there's a space between our head and our knees. So once you're up in the pose, you want to walk your knees and your head into touch. So head down, pull on the heels, bring the knees in, and lift as you pull. Pulling the lower abdominals in. Slowly release and roll up. Last thing to lift is your head. And then coming onto your buttocks, lengthening your legs in front of you. Dandasana. So we're now doing the opposite of what we just did in our hero's pose. All right, so we open the chest, now we're going to fold forward. And so what's very important in this pose is that you remove the curve out of your back. So what you need to do is to be able to tilt in the pelvic area. So a lot of times our hamstrings are tight, and that pulls on our lower back, causing us to curve in the spine. So lifting the hips as high as necessary here is important. So lifting the seat, tilt the pelvis forward. Bring your palms down onto the blanket, flex the feet, and then spin those triceps out, open the chest, knit those lower ribs in, lengthen the back of the neck, and then reaching the fingertips up towards the ceiling, and reaching forward as you fold. So flat back first. Once you can't go anymore, then you begin to reach for the sides of the shins, sides of the feet, or the tops of the feet. So grabbing onto where you found. Inhale, lengthen again, pulling the chest through. And then on the exhale, completely letting go. And still, as you're here, there's always this balance, right? So I'm talking about like internal rotation of the thighs and then pinning the outer hips in, engaging the lower abdominals. These are like opposite things that equal out, right? So they create a balance in the body. So it allows for alignment. So there's always this like opening of the chest as you're pulling in the lower ribs. So you're doing this, and then you're engaging the lower abdominals as you lengthen your lower back. All right, so you're seeing the opposite forces here. You're even doing that in your forward fold. So although there's a curve, there's like a balance between opening the chest and pulling in. All right, so you don't want to completely let go and overstretch anything. Slowly release and just roll up. The last thing to lift is the head. And bringing your left knee in. I'll reposition here. So left knee comes in towards the chest. Right leg straight. So pull it in as much as you can. Equal amounts of weight in both sit bones here. Open first, so pull the chest forward. Tighten those lower ribs. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up. And then spin towards the bent knee. You can either grab around the leg or lengthen the arm past the thigh. And notice the difference between using your arm to twist you and then twisting from internally. Find a balance with that. So twisting from your torso and then twisting with the help of your lever. Sending the gaze towards the shoulder, not past. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, untwist. Lengthen the left leg. I'll frame you on the other side. So right knee comes up towards your chest. And then lengthen the left arm, twisting as you exhale. First, twist from your inner levers. And then on your exhale, twist a little deeper with your arm as a lever. Slowly coming back through the center. Bringing your knees in towards your chest. Removing your props so that you can come back into Shavasana. Or you may use pillow or blankets underneath the knees, underneath your head. Shavasana. Staying where you are in your Shavasana, or slowly and mindfully coming out into a seated position. Bring your palms to touch your heart. We'll seal the class with one Om. Take a deep inhale through the nose. On your inhale, bring your thumb knuckles in between your eyebrows. The light within me recognizes the light within each and every one of you. Namaste. Stay where you are. If you like a longer Shavasana, I always recommend that. My name is Danielle, and I'll see you guys soon for Power Yoga. Thank you for joining.